What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here. Hope you're doing well. I see everyone worked up over the SEC trying to not only appeal the Ripple decision, but they want to speed up the process. They're saying, hey, this decision, it adversely affects everything we're trying to do here, and we need to get a second set of eyes on the situation. Now, I don't know if the judge is going to allow this. A lot of the legal experts say no, they're going to have to wait, but I find it pretty funny that coming from the side that drugged their heels all the way through this process, used time as the ultimate weapon. Now they want to hurry things up. I think either way, whether they get to jump right to an appeal or they have to wait, this is going to be a long process. It's going to take a long time. And in my opinion, it's not going to affect us to any great degree here. The Ripple court case was big for a lot of reasons. First of all, it gives clarity to XRP that the token itself is not a security. From a legal standpoint, we've been yelling that for years. But beyond that, it stops the SEC from so easily being able to broadly disrupt the cryptocurrency market. And to be honest, if we don't have legislation rolled out and clear regulatory guidelines by the end of a Ripple appeal, we got bigger problems than just this court case. What a mess here. It's not an easy environment to get things done for sure, but I think we are going to see crypto regulations start to roll out. You see the big money descending on this space. Your BlackRocks, your Fidelities, and they're not just interested only in Bitcoin, but the broader crypto space. Again, they don't want their clients pulling money from their various funds and investing it on their own, which is what's been happening. It's not that BlackRock is so supremely confident in cryptocurrencies. They're a business like anyone else. They see that demand there from institutions and high net worth investors, and they want to capture that market, and they will. Now, after this decision, we saw a bunch of relistings, and Gemini just relisted XRP, and the price shot to $50. I think it's just due to low liquidity and someone put a market order in there and you saw the price shoot up there. I don't think there's a lot to take out of this other than sometimes in cryptocurrencies, especially when launching a trading pair, there can be issues. Now, the Bitcoin ETF for ARK has been delayed. The SEC had a deadline to make a decision and they have delayed it for public commentary. Remember, on all these Bitcoin ETFs, they can take all the way until January of 2024 to make a decision. Routinely, they take the full amount of time. Maybe this time it's a little bit different because you have your big players here that really want these products. Only time will tell. I suspect, though, they're going to kick the can down the road at least a little bit longer, if not the full amount of time. But we're knocking on the door. We're going to get ETFs for Bitcoin and then a little bit down the road, other altcoins. And they'll have you can buy a basket of currencies with various ETFs. You're going to see massive expansion here. Exciting time. It would be wild in 2017 or 18 or any time before that to think that these big players would have crypto ETFs, but now it is as close to a guarantee as you can get. It's just a question of when. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried finally sent to jail. He's been tampering with witnesses. I've never seen someone get so many chances. If this was you or I, we never would have got any bail to begin with. But that's the way people like him are, right? They don't have to follow the regular rules, and many times they don't. It finally stung him. I bet by the end of this, though, he's going to get some serious time likely, but the consequence is not going to be anywhere near what it should be for the amount of damage that he did. Now, Gemini and the digital currency group, they're still stuck in this legal battle. And to me right now, this is less concerning than it was before, because my big concern was, if the digital currency group went under, they would have to liquidate, likely, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's really the asset they have that still has value. And who would acquire that in its totality? Would that mean that a bunch of Bitcoin comes screaming out onto the market? But here we are in 2023. Again, major plans, Fidelity, BlackRock, and more to follow. You see Charles Schwab and some others launching, crypto exchanges, things like that. I think there's plenty of demand there, and I expect sooner than later someone actually will acquire the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust in its entirety. It actually would be a bullish moment for crypto, not one that would cause, I think, a big drastic drop in prices. And I just don't see how Grayscale and the larger parent company, Digital Currency Group, makes it out of this. They ain't going to be first to market, that's for sure. The SEC is vindictive. They went and sued them because time was of the essence. They had to act. They needed to push that through. And, they're going to get stung for it. Usually the first ETF to market captures that market. I think in this case, they're going to give simultaneous approval to Fidelity, BlackRock, and maybe one other. But it ain't going to be Grayscale. And it's going to seriously damage them. I think they'll have to spin that off. But the good news is there's plenty of demand there. I think it'll get gobbled up, no problem. Now, Senator Loomis, she's calling for the SEC to drop their lawsuit versus Coinbase. And of course, a lot of those lobbyists are probably giving money to her campaign. This is the issue. Don't get me wrong. I hate the approach of the SEC. But this is more than anything a failure of lawmakers to address this emerging situation. We need clear guidelines for this space. The SEC, they don't have the authority, but they're told by the president and, major power players like Elizabeth Warren and Treasurer Yellen, very crypto type of views there among this clown crew. And so Gary Gensler's like the rest of us. He gets his marching orders and he's got to execute his job here. But that's why we have courts, and they're pushing back. This space can't be ignored any longer. It's on the cusp of just breaking free and basically having no regulatory oversight. That's probably not a great space to be in either. They got to address this. That's why I say I think we are going to see crypto regulations. But while I hate the SEC's approach, this is really a problem created by lawmakers because they refuse to put any sort of infrastructure together. They ain't going to be able to roll out any bills that solve everything, but start breaking it down piece by piece. How do you classify crypto? Who gets regulatory authority over it? Stable coins, DeFi, they got to get to work. They got a lot of work in front of them. This space is getting far too big. It's time to get going. Ignoring the problem ain't going to help. Now, I've seen a lot of people out there with this contrarian view. It's pretty interesting, saying that, Bitcoin is going to rip up to all-time high before the next halving event. And usually we see crypto go on a bull run anywhere from 1 to 6 months post the Bitcoin halving. May it be different this time around. We got to watch out. Every cycle has some new wrinkles that are thrown at us. We can't assume we know everything. I would be very surprised if that did happen. We have never seen anything like that happen in the past. I wouldn't set my whole strategy around this idea that it's going to be so different this time around and we're going to see this huge surge before the halving. Again, there's some key metrics there that make some sense that would drive the prices up post-halving. But, understand, we've seen, like Plan B's model, stock to flow, where it has never been wrong, and by God, was it wrong? These kind of guarantees, these magical indicators, a lot of times fail us. You have to always be prepared for that, some new wrinkle that's going to be thrown at you. But I still feel those real-world metrics of a decrease in supply coupled with demand of crypto continuously, going up. I think you put that together. That's some real world metrics that I think will drive the price higher. And it's not just the halving coming up in April of next year. There's some other items there that I really don't feel we're going to run up to new all-time high. But as I always say, I hold my core positions. If it does happen, if we see crypto go on some early run, no one will be happier than myself. I'm prepared for at least one more major sell-off. I'm dollar cost averaging into value, quality assets, ones that I think will be here, for the long term. I'm not just sitting on my hands, but I wouldn't YOLO everything I got into this market because a lot of people are thinking pre-halving, we're racing to all-time highs. I don't think it's going to happen like that. Again, if it does, I'll be cheering with everyone else. Now, while I'm no longer really concerned with Grayscale going down, there is one thing I would keep my eye on that could, disrupt the broader crypto market. Because SEC, they've been handicapped a little bit here. I don't think they could do, massive damage or anything like that. But watch for the DOJ. I know Binance is a, global corporation that is very successful in many markets. But, man, can they bring the heat on you? And where the SEC may come up short, the DOJ could be much more powerful if they come after CZ, if they come after Binance. Again, I don't think it's anything that's going to just, ruin everything ahead of us, but it could, cause a lot of turmoil, downwards price. They haven't made a move yet. We've been hearing for a long time they're gearing up. A lot of people surprised they have not yet. That may happen, and that could be, at least in the short term, a big driver down in prices. We'll have to see. Maybe their case is not as strong as we have heard, but if all the information coming out is true, the DOJ may have a lot of firepower versus Binance, and I would be more scared of that than Gary Gensler knocking on my door. Lastly, Cardano right now, the ability to bring on wrapped Bitcoin onto the Cardano network. I think you always got to look at this. First and foremost, the capability, the security of the network, speed, cost, what type of transactions can you do? Can you do the more advanced feature sets? But you also have to have interesting assets. Assets people want to, stake, trade, whatever it may be. And so that's part of this process. So keep an eye on who's really building, bringing in new interesting functionality that people are really going to want to use. And I know a lot of people right now are down on Cardano. That's what they do, man. Bear markets, you see that Cardano price keep going down, and they keep building and building and building. And where we are now compared to 2017, 18, and 19, it's like light years from that. That's what you're looking for. Who delivers on the promises? This network's come a long ways, and I think that's a big one. Again, you need interesting assets that people want to interact with, and a Bitcoin, globally is a big one there. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.